Would you like to know how to make outstanding testimonial videos by asking better questions? Would you?
Yes.
Well, that was a bad question. We'll show you 5 great tips on asking better questions.
Yes.
I'm Alex with your local studio. With me, I have Kevin Kolbe with Kevin Kolbe Media.
Yes.
And this guy has asked so many questions. 2 people.
Two people. Yeah.
To engage, to pull out good answers, to tell stories. Because you can't tell a good story unless you ask good questions.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So let's dig into 5 tips. You have 5 tips?
I have 5 tips. I have a lot more, but we're just going to do 5.
We're going to focus on the 5. So let's go through, what's the first tip that you have?
Okay, one of it is ask open-ended questions.
Open-ended. Tell me, what does that mean necessarily?
So the worst thing you can do, and it was an example at the beginning, is ask a yes-no question because you're going to get a yes or a no. So for example would be like, do you like winter?
Yes.
Don't have a lot of places I can go with that, as opposed to, what is it about winter you like?
Well, and I could go into an answer if I had one.
But we're not going to. So, but the point is that by asking the open-ended, it allows the person you're talking to talk more and just not just be a yes/no, because you can't really do much with that.
And then you really can pull out a lot of different answers.
Absolutely.
To tell a story.
Absolutely.
Okay. All right. What's tip number 2?
Ask follow-up questions, even if you didn't prepare any.
Even if you didn't prepare any, how do you do that?
So, okay, I do think it's good to have a list of questions that you want to ask, but you've got to be ready for the person you're talking to when they may say something that's a little different, expounds on something, to be able to follow up on that and ask more questions, because if you just stick strictly to the questions, you're going to miss some gold in there where they talked about it. Now, the trick is getting them back on topic.
Because you could go down a rabbit hole. But I have found when you ask that second question, the person you're interviewing feels that you're listening to them, and they get more excited, and they get into it.
Right. And it's okay to say things like, well, tell me more, as opposed to, well, was that fun? Because then you're back to the yes/no thing. So yeah, it's a way to get them engaging more, and the part that they may go more into may be the gold that you end up using in your video.
What's tip number 3?
Oh, I'm sorry. It's silence can be golden.
I was wondering, it's like, oh, okay.
You like what I did there?
Yeah.
So here's the thing. We as humans, we don't like silence when we're talking. So think about you're talking to somebody and they don't respond immediately. It's like, okay, this is awkward. I need to start talking. That can actually be bad in an interview because you allow the other person to maybe talk a little bit more, or emotion or something like that. The worst thing you can do as an interviewer is immediately, once they finish answering, is jump into your next question or interrupt them, which sometimes is hard not to do, but just let it sit for a few minutes, and then they may keep talking, and again, that may be the gold that you were looking for, which you wouldn't have had if you'd have cut them off.
Don't rush it.
Don't rush it.
Silence is golden.
Sorry.
I was about to repeat it. Yeah. Tip number 4.
Have them restate the question as a statement.
As a statement within their question. Is this something you have to ask of them to do?
Yeah, a lot of times I find out you do, and it may feel awkward, but it's okay because you don't know how it's going to be used. So when you have them do that, it gives you reference when you're editing the video.
So for an example, if I were to then ask you, why do you like Game of Thrones?
Right. So I could say, well, one of the reasons I like Game of Thrones is, or, well, I love Game of Thrones because. So even though I didn't say it exactly like Alex asked me, there's reference there to what the question was. And this is huge, especially if you're doing a video without a narrator or an announcer or something like that, because then your interviewee can help frame what you're talking about.
And you can cut right into their answer. You don't need any preface because they've stated it in there. Tip number 5.
Tip number 5 is do as much research about the person you're going to interview before you do the interview.
What does this help you do?
It helps you build rapport. Because the first thing, you've got to make people feel comfortable so they'll talk to you, because chances are you're going to interview folks that may not know you. So check them out online, not stalking, but just check them out online. See what their passion. LinkedIn is great. What their passions are, what their hobbies are, where they went to school, where they're from. You may find some commonality that is a good icebreaker just to start talking about before the interview starts, or maybe even becomes part of the interview. But it's about building rapport, putting them at ease so they feel comfortable.
And that at ease nature that comes out of building the rapport creates a much better end video.
Absolutely.
Because the story is there, they're relaxed, and the emotion comes out.
Yeah. And it'll just, at the end of the day, it'll feel a lot more real.
There you go, 5 great tips for asking better questions to create outstanding testimonial videos and marketing videos overall. But we know these 5 aren't all the tips.
No, there's more.
And there's more. So leave a comment below with tips or tactics that you found that have worked really well to ask good questions to create better stories and marketing videos. Thanks again for joining us. We'll see you next time.
Yes.
Bye.